Star Trek, and one of the reasons why I've always loved Star Trek is aspirational. That is its true purpose. It's trying to represent the best of human or living kind. In the Star Trek universe, the other beings are called humanoids because as you look, it's a lot of makeup, a lot of people in masks. But Star Trek is trying about being better. And in Star Trek, the AI, the best of the artificial intelligence, is about being better and being more human and interacting and learning from each other. And that's what I want to focus on. And like, well, some of it we're going to talk about the negative too, but we're going to try to keep it fun. So let's try. We're going to try not to go too far down the rabbit hole with you guys. We're going to start from the beginning with Star Trek, and we're going to start with the original series. You know, uh, my boy Mr. Spock, Captain Kirk, and Dr. McCoy, and the rest of the crew. And the first episode I want to talk about was the episode called the Ultimate Computer, which is kind of like sort of like a pillar of a lot of the Star Trek universe because they talk about the man who designed the ship's computer, Dr. Daystrom. And in the show, The Ultimate Computer, Dr. Daystrom uh, creates a new artificial intelligent computer that he claims will be able to run a ship of 300 with only a crew complement of 20. What happens in the episode is, of course, he they do a test run where they're going to like do a like war games with another ship, and what happens is, of course, the AI computer goes bad and stops taking recommendations from Captain Kirk and goes on its own. And Dr. Daystrom will not let go of this fact. He won't help Captain Kirk regain control of the ship. And everybody's suspicious of this damn thing, by the way. Everybody sees this as the computer's going to replace their jobs.
Oh, I remember when I first started working and all the old timers were like, job security, job security.
Right. And back in, I think the episode, it comes out in the second season and like 67. And of course, automation replacing people's jobs is like an old fear that goes back to the Industrial Revolution.
Or
And right,
or if you lived on the East Coast and worked in a factory like my family did, you experienced it in real time throughout
yeah,
the 90s and up through the aughts.
right.
Ugh.
And just by the way, what I find interesting about the episode is like it is sort of a Frankenstein episode,
Yes.
and the it was written by one of the OG writers and craftsmen or craftswomen of the Star Trek universe, DC Fontana, and just some quick geeky history. Um, they used her initials because they were worried that like one of the main writers wouldn't be accepted because she was a woman, even though like her writing is like amazing. And she's written some of the most like important episodes of the original Star Trek and the Next Generation. Um, and I actually think she wrote one of the episodes of all the way to Deep Space Nine. And I think her perspective as a woman sort of comes out in the show. I think you remember. Do you remember that from the show when I made you watch the episode? I know I made her watch a lot of episodes.
There were so many episodes. They do start to bleed into each other. But I can't help but, think about like how um for a show that's supposed to be aspirational, right? Like we still have to hide women's contribution. I mean, I get what you're saying and I understand the context of the time and place that we're talking about, right? I get
Right.
that. And I'm not trying to belittle that. I'm not trying to rip that out of that time and place and apply a modern value system to it necessarily. I'm just making an observation.
No, of course, and that is important because for as revolutionary as Star Trek was back then, there is like especially in the original series and in some of you know uh the Next Generation, there is that kind of misogynistic aspect of it
That was
because
part of why I didn't
right
like it. It's like
and
all the women were so naked all the
right.
time.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, so there's that part,
as
of
a
course.
child.
But basically the character, the computer character in the Ultimate Computer is called the M5, and the M5 ends up running the entire ship. They connect it to engineering. Of course, Mr. Scott is pissed because he doesn't want anybody touching anything in the ship, but they all have to deal with. And then the M5 goes rogue and ends up blowing up the other starship that they're supposed to be doing war games with. And Dr. Daystrom, like it's he has a very hard time letting go that and dealing with that his child is gone rogue and he can't control it, no one can control it, and it's not going to work. Basically,
I do remember
yeah,
that episode. Yeah. And it is kind of like the Dr. Frankenstein. What's interesting is that character of the doctor who invented that form of AI is talking about, like, I guess he was like some big deal in their universe of the Federation, of he created something that was some kind of important and venerated by them. And then he felt like he was a one hit wonder and he didn't
right,
have any other things. And so really it was kind of like a Gollum, my precious, right? Like
very much so.
of he was seeking to prove to everyone, hey, I have more than that one hit in me. Look, I made this thing. And so that's also part of why he's so reluctant to acknowledge it went evil.
Right, of course, because it's his new thing.
Well, and he's supposed to be like that superstar,
Right.
you
And
know?
this is where that episode does kind of like ring true steer. It holds up because, a lot of engineers and a lot of these tech people, they're always trying to get us on board with the new thing and new this, new that, when sometimes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so I saw some parallels between Dr. Daystrom and the tech oligarchs of today, just, refusing to admit that their stuff isn't working, you know?
Well, and acknowledging, it's not just can you, should you?
Right.
Is
Should you
it
do it?
best?
Hmm.
Is this an improvement?
Yeah.
If the answer is no, we're not like moving forward in the direction we want to move, then maybe we need to stop and reconsider our path. Like that's what we're supposed to do in our actual lives, right? Is stop and go, oh shit, I'm headed on this path and I don't want to get there. I want a different destination.
Yeah, exactly.
I will take this opportunity to thank you for joining us as we discuss this nerdy topic my husband's super excited about, and I am demonstrating my eternal love for him. uh, and as I thank you, if you're enjoying this and you feel inspired, please go and buy us a coffee. And we would love to also see your, comments about what things you would like to see us explore so that we can make sure that we are moving in the direction with you. Thank you.